Good morning, August 29th at 9 a.m. And this is what day? It's a Monday morning. Welcome, everybody. Oh, I got to put my headset on. Checking audio. Okay. There's audio. Again, do I really care about wearing this headset when I'm just talking to you? You're going to see a glitch here. We're expecting this glitch. What can this go from? Should come back. Should come back. Should come back. Come on, come on, come on, come back to me, come back to me. There it is. There it is. And it should come back. And it's back. Okay, I gotta remember to put this on before starting the stream. Because if I turn this on while streaming, that just, boy, it's just unhappy. I think you heard everything I said before I turned this on. You should have. And if you saw the spinning circle, the only thing I said during that time was that I was waiting for it to refresh. So, here we go. Windows Daily number 43. I got two keyboards and mice in front of me, so I have to keep looking to get the right one. This is Windows Daily 43. Create Macrium bootable USB stick with custom drivers. Dog, I believe we heard everything you were saying before you warned us about the changeover, so you did hear the warning. And let's see, up at the beginning, if I go up here, Tony gave us a good game for our Fortnite games this morning. Dennis, a comment about our games this morning. And for claiming that I'm not going to read chat so much, it's surprising how often I do go do that. Except it's totally not surprising to Ken, I know. So here I've got Friday's Windows Daily up already, and I've got it at the end because all the chat fits in there. And I'm scrolling through here for, I did pre-look through these this morning. You're sharing in yeah, Long Dog's asking, can you give me a rough idea of the full backup size in relation to the actual Windows file size? A rough estimate would be fine. Yeah, we'll look at that at a convenient time when we go along here, because there's going to be more Windows Daily involving Macrium Reflect, so we'll get to that. And he's asking that without special compression. He says, I assume when you're doing incremental backup, you assume you're doing that manually. On the HP All-in-One, yes, I was, but on what I'm going to set up for Big Beast build, which is going to be another Windows Daily, I will be automating that. So I'll create a backup schedule where it will do a full backup periodically, and then it'll do differential backup and incrementals, then differential backup and incrementals, and differential backup and incrementals, and then a full backup. So that is all can be automated, and I'll be doing that for Big Beast build. Other comments here of Long Dogs I'm going to skip through. Find another one. Oh yeah, regarding Western Digital RAID drives, they're supposed to be technically designed for RAID configuration. Well, that's definitely a primary use for them, and for things like oh, come on, I forgot the name of it. When you have a storage machine that's just got drives in it and use it on the network to access them. I don't do that in any of my clients or myself. But when you're going to have multiple drives, and it dampens the vibration. So that's part of it too. RAID configurations, yes. It's been my teaching from a very respected IT guy who is currently computer IT guy and much more for the Vatican's, Padre S.J. He used to be on Leo's channel. I think I've seen him. Saying RAID drives are not the best choice when you're going to use them as single drive in RAID configuration because of firmware differences. I'm not familiar with that. That very well could be true, or that could be a thing of the past. He's questioning here, maybe that was a thing of the past. If it's ill-advised to put the Western Digital RAID, like I have in the Big Beast build as a long-term storage for backup, then I'm not aware of that. I've heard from other YouTubers, and I think I'm not sure if it was Mike Smith or Kerry Holzman, but it seems like one of them advised the Western Digital RAID for this purpose that I'm using it for. So I'm not studied up on that. No comments that I need to refer to. Tony Waddle with his usual comment, outstanding update. Well, that's not always what he says, so I guess he particularly liked that one. But I always like seeing Tony's comments. Then, so that's all of the catch up I have to do. I don't think I have anything in channel comments that's saved. No, I don't. So then let's get moving on with today's Windows Daily 43. We're dealing with the Dell computer that I featured in Saturday's live stream. I have a monitor connected to it, but I'm not going to be referring to that today. I have the capture device connected to it, so I'm going to bring it up here on screen. There is the Dell computer in Windows. And I realized I wanted to start up today with it in the BIOS setup screen, because but I got a few client phone calls. In fact, the last client phone call was at 8:58, and I thought I knew who it was, and it was going to be a quick call. It wasn't. It was somebody else in the office with a longer call. But I got their problem solved and got the stream started within 2 minutes. So I'm going to go to the Windows button and go to the power button and hold down the shift key and then restart. Holding down the shift key is because I want to get into advanced startup options so that I can get into BIOS setup screen on this computer. And the subject that we're dealing with is the Macrium Reflect backups, but there's a twist here that I thought would be a really good material for a Windows Daily. The BIOS setup on new Dell computers and new HP computers, they've been coming with the storage media configured as RAID, even when there's only one storage media configured as RAID. Well, my Macrium Reflect USB thumb drive does not have the driver for that. So when I boot in the basic Macrium thumb drive, I cannot see the storage drive that's installed on the computer. So we're going to show one method of getting around it. Now this hasn't come up yet, and I've seen this be a little glitchy. I'm going to try the Enter key on the keyboard and see if it comes up. I have previously had to swap to the actual monitor to get it to come up, but I thought I had that worked out. It's still not coming up. So I'm going to go do that. Swap to the real monitor. See if that comes up. See if it comes up. There it is. Now can I switch back to the capture device and get an image through the capture device? There's another twist I might have to do. Yeah, but there it is. So I think that might be the fault of the capture device. Just when I plug it in, it's automatically sensing or reconfiguring. Not sure, that's a little bit weird. And I did not get BIOS. All right, so let's redo this again. The monitor plugged in, and I'll use that to do hold down the shift key and restart. And I'll get it into the BIOS screen with that monitor, then I'll swap to the capture device. Looking at chat there at the end of chat, seeing there's no comments about problems on the stream. Got a Dell logo. Now, when I turn the computer on, I can use the F12 key, which is boot options, for this computer in order to get into BIOS that way. So now I'll switch. The capture device. Still not. Come on. pull a USB cable from the capture device, plug it back in. Give it to me now. Yes. It's like the old Simon and Simon. I think that was a detective show. They go to their helicopter to start up. They have to kick the helicopter on the side. Now I can go into troubleshoot. Got to use the correct mouse or just use arrow keys on the keyboard. Enter on troubleshoot. Go to advanced options, down one, right one to UEFI firmware settings. And does a restart, and it'll go into BIOS setup. Tony says F2 Dell. So that could be the case that F2 would get me straight into BIOS. I have not looked that up. I just know that on this computer, the F12 gets me into options. All right, so here we go. Very different looking BIOS than from older vintage Dells. I'm going to go down here to storage. Over here we see that RAID is on. So with RAID on, using my Macrium Reflect thumb drive that I have, I cannot get access to this drive. If I switch to AHCI NVMe, I'm not going to. If I do that, then I lose what is on that drive. I can't access it, I can't boot to it. It's just no boot system found. I'm going to put this Macrium Reflect drive into the USB slot and demonstrate what happens if I go into Macrium Reflect while this is configured as RAID. Do you want to save changes? No, I haven't made any changes that I need to save. I clicked over to the HCI and I went back, and it thinks I've made changes, but I have not. And then what do I want to do here? I want to do the boot options. To try it, well, I can boot on the Macrium Reflect thumb drive. This, I think I've missed it. Yep. So then again, I'll do Windows key, Shift, restart. This is where I'm going to have to swap the cables around again. I did some experimenting with that. I thought it had it to where I had that resolved, but I didn't have a chance to confirm it. So I was just doing all that this morning. There, I got Dell. Got the Dell logo. I'm going to show during this live stream today how I'm going to deal with this issue, because what I want to do is make an image backup of this drive the way that it is now from the factory and then go on to my next plans for it, which I'm not going to describe at the moment. Use a device. Yeah, so I want to use a USB device, hitting enter there, and then here I can choose which device I want to boot to. So at this point, the NVMe that's in the computer is selectable, but I'm going to choose the UEFI SanDisk. So those are both UEFI. The problem is that this thumb drive does not have the drivers for RAID in order to recognize the drive. Now, actually, let me give a little disclosure here. What I'm going to do during today's live stream, I never have actually done it before, but I'm this certain that that is the solution as opposed to this certain. But maybe I need to be this certain. I don't know. So here's trying to boot off of the thumb drive. It'll go into Macrium Reflect, and I'm just going in here to demonstrate that I cannot even see the NVMe drive that's in this computer. Here we go. I'm on the Create Backups tab, and this drive up here is the 1.82 terabyte external drive that I have connected by USB. This down here is the SanDisk Cruiser thumb drive at 16 gigabytes. No hard drive, no NVMe drive shown here. So I'm going to exit out of here, restart the computer into Windows, and then I already have installed Macrium Reflect on this Windows installation. What I was wanting to do was boot to the thumb drive and create an image without having installed anything on the computer. So I had the factory state installation. Not possible because I didn't have a thumb drive that already had the RAID driver that would work for this. So here I'll go launch. I can see the mouse moving. There it is. Click on the Windows button, type Reflect. Launch the program. I've already made a full backup to that external drive, but that's not the objective this time. Answering yes to user account control. Here's Macrium Reflect, and at the top of the list is the internal NVMe drive at showing 470 whatever that is gigabytes. Be a 512 gig drive, and then here's the 1.82 terabyte, or 2 terabyte I should say, external drive, and then here's that thumb drive. So they're all accessible and visible here. So I'm taking one of my new SanDisk Cruisers because I bought, like I showed you the other day, 10 of them, and there's a dotted line on the back. Then cut here, and then I should be able to separate this, and that gets me into a plastic enclosed drive, and there's no easy opening to that I figured out, so I just cut it with scissors. I'm taking it fresh out of this package just to show this is a brand new, never used thumb drive. Then I'm going to remove the thumb drive that's in the computer. I did not do safely eject, but still I have an old school reaction to that. I wanted to click to safely eject it. So then what I do is come up here to Other Tasks and Create Rescue Media. Now what I've seen before is this should give me an opportunity to include the RAID drivers. Select a device. So here's the USB flash drive. And then here's Enable Multi-Boot MBR UEFI recommended for your system. That's interesting that it recommends that for my system. And check for devices missing drivers on boot. I'm going to check mark that. I don't think that's quite the one for the RAID driver. There's operational WinBuild, boot menu, USB media. What does it give me there? That's just for logs, so I don't need that. I think that's all I need to do at this point. Here's an advanced. I'll take a look at that. Yeah, add BitLocker support. So I am contemplating using BitLocker on these computers, so I'm going to add that. Automatically unlock BitLocker volumes. Interesting. I probably have to have the key for the particular computer. Add SCSI support? No. Enable legacy EFI screen resolution support. Select if experiencing low resolution in the pre-installation environment. Kind of interested in doing that. Enable legacy SMB support. Add Wi-Fi support. I rarely need to be connected to internet. So, and this computer doesn't even have Wi-Fi, so I'm going to decline that. Custom base WIM. Advanced users can supply a pre-prepared Windows image file. I'm going to pass on that. Use IP address DNS. So no statements in here about the RAID driver. Over here is devices and drivers. The WinRE or custom WIM requires scanning for devices. I'll click OK there, and there's scanning for devices. Ethernet connection, Intel RC. These devices are, looks like it's going to copy those. I don't know if it's going to show us as anything in here about the RAID driver. And these would be for using different pre-installation environments. This is the default choice for Windows 7 and above. Then here's a downloadable option that includes UEFI Secure Boot, USB 3.0. Downloadable option supports UEFI Secure Boot. It's possible I may wind up going to something else in here, but I'm going to go try this. My objective in this live stream is to get to a point where I can boot off of this USB thumb drive into Macrium Reflect and see that drive. This rescue environment will only be used for personal non-commercial use. Commercial use is strictly forbidden. I believe I'll probably be buying licenses for this client's office, but not at this point. Ran Israel says, Intel RST is the RAID controller driver. Thank you, Ran. I am not studied up on that. So Ran, was that actually selected? I think that was a selection in there. And then Zavi Manor, the RAID controller is active because the Intel Rapid Storage controller is active. You can change it to HCI only by open msconfig while your Windows environment was working in RAID mode. Choose to enable safe boot there, then restart your system, switch to HCI, let Windows load once in safe boot, switch drivers, then reboot again in normal mode. Thank you, Zavi. I think I will try that probably offline. Maybe I'll record my efforts on that, but I'm not going to do that during today's live stream. My only objective here is creating a bootable Macrium Reflect thumb drive, regardless of whether you have a RAID computer or not. And I also wanted to show that this is, I believe, going to be the solution to being able to boot from this thumb drive and see the internal drive. And Rand says yes, that Intel RST was selected. I thought it was. I'm reading back through some of the earlier comments because I was fully expecting that the chat room was going to be giving me some learnings in this. Lawn Dog, it's possible that Macrium does not have the drivers for RAID. My understanding is that it can get those drivers by creating a thumb drive from the computer that has the drivers. And I guess this is the instruction how to correct that issue by adding the drivers. Yeah, sorry I'm a little slow this morning. The same thing used to happen in Cronus and then Lawn Dog. So Doug, just for clarification, you are running a RAID configuration using NVMe drives. Yeah, HP computers and Dell computers seem to come configured that way. I don't quite know why yet, but that seems to be persistent. Rescue media successfully created, clicking OK. And then close. And then I'll close Macrium Reflect, restart the computer. I'm going to use Shift key so that I can select to boot from that thumb drive that we just created. Next comment, Lawn Dog at 9:18 my time. A person would put 2 hard drives in RAID configuration, possibly SSDs. That's the norm, but then again, those new NVMe drives are getting to be reasonably priced. Yeah, I've used RAID. RAID 1 and 5 typically is what I use. RAID 1 for mirroring and RAID 5 for striping with 3 or more drives. And I have systems out there among my clients now doing that in servers, not for workstations. Especially 3rd generation, reasonably priced. And I'm also watching the prices on 4th generation, and they're getting awfully affordable. Also, Zavi, the RAID control is active because, yes, I read that one. Because Rapid Storage Controller is active. You can change to HCI only by opening msconfig in Windows 11 while your Windows environment was working in RAID. Choose to enable safe boot there, then restart your system, switch to HCI, let Windows load once in safe boot, switch drivers around, then reboot again. That's great, because I thought I was going to have to switch to AHCI, then I was going to try restoring the image that I create from the RAID mode, and I don't know if that would work. I suspect Zavi knows the answer to that. So then you use a USB device, switch to the right mouse, and switch boot off the SanDisk Cruiser. All I'm interested in here is seeing if I can see the NVMe drive, and then we're done for today. Then let's see, Lawn Dog. Doug, I wish it was much simpler to just add a driver using some menu. You should have a function where add custom drivers then would load the driver and would integrate. I think this was pretty simple because I don't think I had to go into those advanced menus. I didn't make any changes in those advanced menus. I think simply creating the USB thumb drive from an installed Macrium Reflect on the computer that has the drivers I want, then create that Macrium Reflect, and boom. If I were to quote Alex, Bob's your uncle. And you've got a bootable thumb drive for that computer. Zvi, I think that you have in this computer an NVMe by Samsung. In the past, when RST was on the Samsung Magician, did not work. All right. Ken says, wait, what? This is not about RAID for ants. All right, here we are, booted on the thumb drive, on the backups tab, and this looks good because there is the NVMe drive that's installed in this computer. So just by installing Macrium Reflect in the free home version, that gets me made a bootable thumb drive. And the part about not for commercial uses, this computer's going to commercial use, but I'm not going to keep Macrium Reflect on this computer. So we're not paying a license there. I do have a number of installations out there among my clients that we do pay for the license, and I have 5 licenses for my own computers around here. So there it is. The NVMe drive is there. And so now I can use this thumb drive to, as I develop this computer further, add the more software, I'm going to uninstall Macrium Reflect from it because I don't need that to be on my client's resulting image. And then I'll be able to use this thumb drive to make backups or restores after that. Rand, there is such an option. The trick is hunting down the right drivers as zip files. And I do believe that's correct, that you can add the drivers after the fact, but I don't think that's going to be easy. Lawn Dog says, Doug, that's interesting. You mentioned that you use a bootable or running of Macrium. That's an interesting detail that, of course, I picked up, but that's not my normal pathway to adding custom drivers. I just would incorporate that in my normal process. So maybe today I'm learning something. We'll see how this goes. So I'm all caught up with chat. I'm ending the live stream here. That means tomorrow I don't have to review chat, I think. Have a great day, everybody. I hope that was useful. Catch you later. Goodbye.